Hi, Dr. Regan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
Like, our operatories are huge, and that was done intentionally because I want to have a lot of space. I don't want people to feel like they're cramped in. Almost all the operatories have natural light. You're looking at the mountains and things. And so, as we all know, you go to people going to the dentist, this is not the most exciting, comfortable, thing for them. And so we really have tried to design it maybe contrary to a lot of approaches.
Welcome to the Everyday Practices Podcast. I'm Regan Robertson, and my co-host, Dr. Chad Johnson, and I are on a mission to share the stories of everyday dentists who generate extraordinary results using practical, proven methods you can take right into your own dental practice. If you're ready to elevate patient care and produce results that are anything but ordinary, buckle up and listen in.
Cool.
How do you plan on alerting your community, or have you already? Have you marketed out this new space, or do you plan to do like an open house?
Well, I think we will do an open house. It probably more like springtime. We'll do something like that. A lot of it's been like social media stuff. Just kind of posting things online and those kind of things.
If I remember right, on Google Maps, I think I've looked it up, and you guys are in a prominent enough along the road visibility,
Mm-hmm.
right?
We're right on the main street in Carson. It's Carson Street, which is like the main, kind of the main thoroughfare. So we're right on that. So we get a lot of exposure, there. So, but yeah, we need to do more with kind of getting the word out on the new office. But yeah, most of it's been kind of social media.
Well, I think social media is a great place to start because you're telling the story and you're kind of keeping them up to date. And I love what you said about bringing your team in to this journey and being transparent with them. And instead of just saying, you don't need to worry about this, it'll be good, it'll be done, you really kind of pulled them through with it. And I just did a little peeking because I know you, the last time I checked, you had 600 5-star reviews. You're at like a 4.9 rating overall, which is phenomenal. And now, did you know you're over 700, well over 700? You're on your way to 1,000.
I did not know that.
So I'm going to brag on I want to brag on you a little bit here because this is fun. And this is marketing in and of itself because somebody, well, I guess I could say the name because it's a public review, right? Michelle Smith. First, she gives you 5 stars, types in all caps. Have you read this review yet, Clint?
I have not.
It just came in 5 days ago, apparently. Right. There are a ton of photos of your new office that she uploaded that are gorgeous.
Really?
So now I can kind of see, yes. She says, I love going to the dentist, all caps. Said no one ever, unless you go to Advanced Dentistry by Design. The front office staff is amazing. The waiting area is beautiful and relaxing. There's no smell of chemicals or teeth being drilled and grinded. Dr. Kelly, shout out Dr. Kelly. Dr. Kelly achieved the warm, welcoming feeling that reflects the kind of treatment you receive. Top tier and high tech all around. While waiting for a crown to be made, what dental office do you know asks, hey, do you need a blanket? Can I get you a bottle of water? Here are headphones and a phone charger if you need it. If you have past dental trauma, please go to Advanced Dentistry by Design. It will change your life and dental health.
Wow.
Man, I love it. I guess, that sums it up right there. That's why we did all this. So I like it.
That's really cool. Hey, tell me, what did Dr. Randy think when, how's, it's a softball question, but has he been pretty proud of where this has come from, when he first brought you on to now? Like, how's that?
Yeah.
How's he expressed that?
Yeah, no, it's funny. Like literally like 2 days ago is that we were like in our digital lab looking at some stuff and looking at some cases, and he's like, man, it's crazy to think about like where we started, cause like and this isn't a slam to Randy at all. Like, but when I started with him, like we were in like an older office that was like falling around, or like crumbling around us. I mean, there was like a door into our personal office that like every day you couldn't get open because I think the building had shifted and you had to, manhandle that thing open.
Right.
And we had a smaller, I think we had, at that time, maybe 7 or 8 employees and or team members. And so, so he's super proud. I mean, Randy, I have to give Randy a lot of credit, is that even since I, bought him, bought his kind of half the practice and everything, like he's been an unbelievable, kind of support. And I think he's also enjoyed seeing, where it was, to where it is now. So it's funny, man. We just talked about that the other day because it comes up often. So
that's cool.
And he's been great.
Yeah.
Do you have something, Chad?
No, I was curious. How much clinical is he working a week? Is he doing 3 days or 2 days or?
He's doing 3.
3?
Nice. Yeah. Kind of the sweet spot for him, I think has been 3. He really likes that. So
yeah, I sure miss him around.
But it's, Randy's a great guy.
Yep.
But it's been, it's been an interesting couple of years. I mean, it's been super busy, but there a lot of the, kind of how the expansion started and things, there's a lot of things that happened it was partly planned and partly, from what I bought Randy out, and then our lease was up on the building. I didn't want to continue leasing. So we ended up buying the building. Some of these things were planned, some weren't. So it's been fun. It's been a rewarding process. And now that we're done, it feels a lot better than it did a year ago in the mix of it. You can kind of look back and be like, all right, cool. Like now we can use the new space and, kind of check the boxes for where we wanted to head. So yeah, we're excited.
Yep. Very cool.
So in the photos that Michelle uploaded, I got to see the 3 they're big monitors in the waiting room. You got 3 big ones. And Chad and I are reading right now a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. So Clint, I don't know if you listen to Everyday Practices Dental Podcast, but we are doing a series of book reviews. And this book has a particular chapter called the 95-5. And it's about understanding where to spend money during an experience, a customer experience, a patient experience, so that it makes a lasting impact. And one of the things that Michelle uploaded was a close-up photo of the Beats headphones.
Yeah.
I don't know who picked the Beats headphones, but enough that a patient is taking a photo of it and uploading it is really fascinating to me.
So, yeah, no, I mean, I think that was our team, kind of picked those out, but it's, I don't know, the little stuff like that makes it fun, is it just kind of taking care of patients and trying to provide a little different experience. And the TVs in the waiting room, we may use them for some promotional stuff. I'm sure we will, but really like all the TVs just play like kind of nature videos. And, so you're in there, you see crashing waves on one and the rainforest on another. And, we've got a big fireplace. Like it's one of those like electric fireplaces, but especially this time of year, it's cold, it's going. And, it's more of the kind of the living room feel to it, where people have a lot of room to spread out and you're not kind of packed in with a lot of other patients. And, I don't know. Those are the things that kind of excite me. Like I like doing stuff like that, just to kind of create a different experience for patients than what they would normally get. Where you walk in a waiting room and you got 6 chairs that are all stacked right next to each other. And you're just kind of I don't know. So it's been
sardined in.
Yep.
Well, if I can reflect too, I know our listeners don't know, but you and I and Kelly, we got to work on your guiding principles together, and that is really sets the mission and the tone. So from the economic objective down into the key characteristics, which most people know as core values, what your team embodies. And what I loved about that is your 3 key characteristics are knowledgeable, connection, and comprehensive. So in the story that you just shared with us, I can see where I'm still hung up on that extra space that you made for the team for learning. I think that's really good because, Chad and I know you personally and how passionate you are about education. So I think that's just unbelievable to have that, but the connection that you're giving with people. So thinking about the experience from the patient perspective, like you just said, thinking about the waiting room area and how you know that your patients would enjoy a spread out experience, that's slowing down and really thinking through things, because you certainly could have put the square footage in other areas, but thinking about their experience at each intersection is quite powerful. And your tagline is "Your smile is worth it."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's funny because our office is maybe contrary to a lot of, like, let's just say from an efficiency of space standpoint, is that we could have had either a smaller office and put in as many chairs, or we could have packed in a lot more operatories and things into the office. But, like I know, and I know there's companies that I won't even name names. So there's companies that help people design like really efficient offices where you have small operatories and everything is very, which I think it could be great. For us, like our operatories are huge, and that was done intentionally because I want to have a lot of space. I don't want people to feel like they're cramped in. Almost all the operatories have natural light. You're looking at the mountains and things. And so, as we all know, I mean, you go to people going to the dentist, this is not the most exciting, comfortable, thing for them. And so we really have tried to design it maybe contrary to a lot of approaches where, things are kind of centered around the patient and their comfort and their experience. And, even at the sacrifice of maybe some efficiency or space that we could have used differently. So,
Absolutely.
But I don't know, for me, that's what makes it kind of fun and interesting.
Do you know what's funny is we try and reduce the steps because, they'll be like, over the course of the next 20 years of your career, you'll waste 60,000 steps, and we can help save that, because efficiency matters. And then let's say you have this efficient day and you get done and you're like, I haven't got my steps in. I should go get my steps in. So we pay for freedom so we can go get our steps in. And then in the office, it's like, we can't have such an inefficient office that we are wasting steps, So
yeah.
There could be a counter to that. It's like, well, you're trying to work, it's like, fair enough. But it's just, I don't see why we have to try and eliminate, every inefficiency to where it's just like, doesn't the aesthetic play into it, and the feel and your enjoyment of it and everything like that, even when people are implementing standing desks with treadmills and stuff, it's funny, but it's like, God forbid we build an office that's big enough that it just feels big. It's like, we've got to make it tight and then have a treadmill in it so that way. That was my point.
Yeah.
Well, every decision that I make, I know as a human, personal or professional, I do the left side, right side. So I do data on the left and emotion on the right. And so what Clint, what you're saying to me anyway, what I'm hearing is you've blended both. So you've taken their feelings into account, and that's a piece of the puzzle. And if you're looking to make people comfortable, and I know how important that is to you and Chad, both of you as clinicians, make people feel comfortable, that it is always good to look at the data, Chad. So if I was making this decision, I'd be asking, okay, well, how much time does that take to walk from here to here? And I would be looking at the steps too. But to be a really great leader, I think you have to balance both of those, like take both into consideration to make the final decision. That's the hard part. So Clint, did you grow up in Carson City? Were you born there?
I was born and raised in Carson.
Did you?
And so,
go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, like, it's home. It's home for me. So I think that I honestly kind of plays into it a little bit. It's like, it's my hometown, and my dad was a veterinarian like a block down from where my practice is, so I grew up like in that area all the time because that's where my dad had his practice. And so there's like a lot of pride of like, I'm sure we would have built something, still great in another town, but it's just like, this is like our hometown. This is where I grew up. I know people here, and so it's, I think that plays into it for sure.
I wondered, did you know when you were like 10? So I've got a son that's 10 right now. So he's got all sorts of magical career ideas right now, and has since he could talk. But I'm wondering, did you know when you were 10 what kind of impact you were going to make on the community?
Oh, no. At 10, I was going to be... Yes. That was all part of the master plan. At 10, I was sure I was going to be Maverick in Top Gun. as a Navy fighter pilot, I did not know I was going to be a man of the West. I thought I was going to be a man at sea flying F-18s. And so, yeah.
Is that what you wanted to do at that age?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of my childhood, man, I loved planes, anything that was flying, jets. I think when I saw Top Gun, I don't know how old I was, 10 years old or 12 or something like that. And I was like, yep, like that's it. That's what I'm going to do. And then
I think we're all about the same age. And that was me. What's your favorite plane, Clint?
Well, the F-14 was at the time. I mean, it is because that was the fighter pilot or the fighter jet in Top Gun. So yeah, F-14.
I wanted to fly the SR-71.
That was a favorite too. I always liked that one. That was the Blackbird.
So now that you're open, now that you can reflect, you've gone through the frustration and you're starting to see a lot of the successes from it. What's been your favorite thing so far? Did anything surprise you?
I mean, the favorite. I mean, I like the patient reactions. I mean, that's awesome. Is that just not every patient, but almost all the patients I talk to, there's like, this is beautiful, like congratulations. And so it's very rewarding, to see that. I think for me, like the reward is going to be more moving forward in just how it's going to change. The growth is how it's going to change my kind of procedure mix and the things I want to do. I mean, that was part of it. Is that like I said earlier, I wanted to make a change in the direction I was heading, and really more, kind of the two things I love doing are like same day smiles with CEREC, and then now, I shouldn't say now, I've placed implants for a long time, but we're really putting a bigger focus on implants and, kind of all on X or even just immediate implants. I mean, I've seen all the time people come in with a broken front tooth, and, sometimes the solution is take the tooth out, graft it, wait, put the implant in, wait, where some of the new technology that we have now, we can take the tooth out, we can put an implant in, we can put a temporary crown on, like they leave that day with a front tooth. And in fact, I just did a case like that the other day, and it was like super rewarding to have the technology to do that. And so I think for me, that's where I'm most excited, is just kind of that what it's going to open up for my daily kind of procedure mix and the things that I enjoy doing that I just didn't have time to do before because we didn't have the space to do it or the team. We had the team, but we didn't have the doctors to provide care for patients that still need general dentistry.
Right.
So that's where I'm excited.
I'm going to ask you one more marketing question. I think the answer is probably it's in evolution, but I am really curious. Will your marketing strategy shift as a result, since you want to do more and different procedures? Does your demographic change a little bit?
So that's a great question, Regan. Yes, I just had a meeting with Sarah where we're implementing a whole new, kind of layered on top of what we're doing now, but a whole new marketing strategy. Really more getting into kind of radio, TV, more of the authority side on on what we want to do with the YOMI. We're the only practice in Northern Nevada right now that has a YOMI.
Yes.
And so, that's something I see as a huge opportunity for us to market and get the word out, because one, no one else is doing it, and it's just incredible technology. So it's kind of the next, we were actually the first practice in Northern Nevada that had a CEREC system, had CAD CAM, was doing any of that. And so there's been, we're definitely on the early adopter side of things. But anyway, we're going to market that. And so we are adding a lot more to our marketing that's going to be more targeted toward some of these bigger cases and the technology and things that we now have.
What do you think your secret is to being disciplined? I know you and Kelly have inspired me for, I don't know how long I've known you, a decade, at least, a decade, at least. Both of you are very, in my humble opinion, from my perspective, fairly methodical, disciplined, paced. And so, to have the freedom of working 2 days each and working that as a team so that you can be really present as parents has always inspired me. And to take on this particular project that you have, to me, is very brave. I mean, it's very brave. I know you're in the abundant mindset and you do it really, really well. How I like kind of also how you continue to think. Do you have a secret or a tip on how you maintain that sort of methodical, consistent, and disciplined nature between both of you?
Well, I think for me, like my mind likes to work kind of in the strategy side of things. Like I like to strategize and kind of look forward and try to be like, let's talk about the YOMI, kind of see like a market trend of like, these are procedures, these are things that people are looking for. Like there's a lot of people out there that have bad teeth and that, kind of that train wreck dentistry, and that they're looking for a solution. And so, when I see something like that, like that's where my mind likes to live, is like, how do we take care of a patient, and how do we position ourselves as a practice and a team where we can provide a service that is growing and that people want, and then from like a scheduling standpoint, I think that always looking, with kind of the end in mind and reverse engineering, what you want, is that we knew for a long time, Kelly and I, that we wanted to work a certain schedule. And so, a lot of that was just kind of the strategy of like, okay, well, we want to work 2 days a week. We want to have time with our family. Like that was our number one priority, not necessarily how do we make more money, but money's important. And so it's like, all right, how do we reverse engineer this, where if we're going to work 2 days, like what does our hourly need to be? How many patients we need to see, what's our procedure mix need to be? Like, how do we get to that point where we can work the schedule that we want to work, and still pay the bills and have a lifestyle and things that we wanted to do. So, I think a lot of it's just kind of having the end in mind and working back from there. I think that, even like with the expansion, part of the reason that we did that is that I think it's important for all dentists is to look, 5 or 10 years out and think, or whatever. I don't know, I guess it depends on your age, but for me, I'm 46. And so it's like, at some point I'm going to exit this business, and maybe still own the business and just clinically kind of step back. But I didn't want to be in a situation where you're 2 years out and you're like, man, how am I going to get out of this? And so, trying to look 5 and 10 years ahead and say, hey, you know what, how again, that's kind of the stage of practice that we are now, is that we want to continue to practice, but we're not going to practice forever. So like, how do we, with the goal of say a 5 to 10 year horizon, look out there and say, how do we reverse engineer this so that we can step away at some point? And that's, again, how the expansion, or part of the reason that we're doing the expansion, is that it provides us some flexibility to do some of those things. So I'm not sure if that answers the question, but that's kind of where my mind likes to live.
Yes, it answers it very well.
All right. Did you apply that strategy to your calf muscles and building those up? I mean, were you over the last 5 years looking at, what quintessentially you wanted to exit as your calf sizes, or was it more longevity, strength, duration? I mean, how did you decide how to sculpt your calf muscles the way you know?
I've just been naturally blessed, is that God from an early age just blessed me with incredible calf muscles.
The listeners only will have no idea. I mean,
yeah.
I don't think I've seen either one of your calves.
Yes, you have.
Respectively.
They've been posted on Facebook. It's just you've forgotten. Yeah.
Chad and I had a best legs competition. Really focused more on the calves, and
not.
Yeah, we didn't show our quads. We didn't want to be hussies.
Yeah. So right. Yeah, we wanted to keep it PG, but it was, yes.
Maybe next we should go hussy style and show our quads and get a vote, like who's got the better quads.
Yeah. Well, I think I told you guys, I'm like, I will only do this podcast if Regan's part of it, because if Chad and I get together and we just start talking, like it's going to be because
we're just flexing. At that point, we're just flexing full of sarcasm, and it's just no good.
Yeah. Chad and I, real quick story. Chad and I, we didn't plan this. Like we were at a CE event together. We showed up. He was down in Scottsdale, and I was like, "Hey!" So we sat next to each other, and I mean, it was like 2 third graders giggling in the back of the classroom for 2.5 days. I think everyone around us was completely annoyed.
They were learning.
They were annoyed.
We got the librarian look. Like, aren't you guys here to learn?
Yeah, a lot of shushing.
For shame.
Oh. Did you get shushed?
We're passing notes back and forth, giggling the whole time, and
to see who can make each other giggle more. I mean, really. But it was a rug cut up scenario. I mean, just for a couple of days, that was truly a blast, because I normally don't have someone that childish alongside me to to join in with my childish.
Yes. So
thank you.
It was a good time. The people around us suffered, but we had a great time. So.
Yeah. Do you think, I don't remember, do you think we got shushed, or do you think we just got the look?
We got a lot of looks.
Yes.
It seemed like every day there was less and less people around us. I think the people that were sitting next to us relocated to other places
as they should. Tough luck
in the building. I think that so.
I think those looks were just looks of envy. I think that's all that was, because you guys
our
were
calf
enjoying
muscles
yourselves.
were covered over. They weren't. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah. We didn't want to bring that out quite yet. They weren't ready for that.
Yeah. So listeners, if you get a chance, we're going to post our pictures of our calf muscles today, not 10 years ago.
Oh, what a treat.
Yes. And we're going to have a vote. Again, this is winner takes all. Who's got the better calves? And this is just a subjective, like it's not bigger.
Is it a blind calf? Like we're only going to see the calf, not the person connected to the calf, so that you have
I think it needs to be blind.
Yes, but recall there's a bias, because if people know that Clint has blonde hair, then they're going to assume who's got which legs, and don't look for my burn marks and decide.
Well, now you're cheating. Now you're giving hints. I'm going to edit that out.
No, that's fine. All right. So clap. Edit that out.
Blonde?
Here we are.
Your black leg hair, Chad?
I think at this point, I haven't micro inspected, but I think there's probably white showing up now. It's just happening. Yeah.
Can't laser the grays or whites. So. Well,
yeah, and I apologize for the extremely white skin that you're going to see, because we're in the middle of winter here.
I'm in Iowa. It's all right. It's white against white. Yeah,
I'm a fairly light-skinned fellow anyway, so
that's right.
Normally I like to show off my calves when they're a little more tan. Yeah, but this will do.
Do you want to head down to the tanning salon before get yourself kind of pre-cooked a little? And okay.
No, I'm not worried.
Clint, is there a barbecue place in Carson City that's where it's at? That like, what restaurant, if you win, am I buying you dinner to?
Oh, well, yeah, there is a barbecue. If we're going barbecue.
Okay, good.
I mean, I was thinking like a fancy steakhouse or something should be,
That's fine.
I'm not sure barbecue is really gonna.
Oh, he wants the steaks upped. This is up. Is this Wagyu level? A1, A5?
Okay. Yeah, sure. Whatever it takes. I'm in.
All right. Fine.
Somebody's going to go do 200 calf raises before the photo's taken.
Hold on. One more. Like, should we post a picture flexed and not flexed? I mean, we've got to have them both the same. So is it just natural and flexed? Like, which should like, Regan, you decide, should this be flexed or not flexed?
I feel like we should at least see above the knee a little bit, so we could understand. Yeah. Is it a gentleman that understands leg day or not? So I think flexed is good, but non-flexed, I mean, that gives you the general stance, right?
We will submit flexed and non-flexed. Clint, are you in? And the winner,
I'm in.
Winner takes all. The last person who won, it doesn't matter. It's on. It's winner takes all.
I'm pretty sure it was me.
I'm texting Kelly and Sarah right now, and I'm telling them the shenanigans that are occurring.
Is that?
I was trying to be generous, but you really thought you won last time?
Oh, no doubt. No doubt.
Wow.
I mean, I'm not sure anyone voted, but in my head, I was a clear winner.
Okay, maybe I did just count my mom's opinion, but all right, it's on. We appreciate the last hour that you've walked us through your practice development and what's been going on, and your muscle strength. So thank you.
So comprehensive. We want to cover. We want to cover all. We want to cover all bases here. So Anyway, well, no problem. Bro. I'm in. Yeah, well, thank you guys. It's always fun to see you guys and hang out a little bit and share some stories. So enjoyed it.
All right, everyone. Thanks for being good listeners.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Everyday Practices Podcast. Chad and I are here every week thanks to our community of listeners just like you, and we'd love your help. It would mean the world if you can help spread the word by sharing this episode with a fellow dentist and leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify. Do you have an extraordinary story you'd like to share or feedback on how we can make this podcast even more awesome? Drop us an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. And don't forget to check out our other podcasts from Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentist.com/podcasts. See you next week.